Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Alicia Lott and this channel is for those of you who want to have a journaling routine that is messy, minimalist, and low budget. And for those of you who want to use journaling for mental health and growth and feelings and stuff. So yeah, I wanted to ask you all, how are you feeling as we inch closer to the end of 2024? Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I was setting up my weekly spread in my bullet journal and I had just an oh crap moment of like, I couldn't quite calculate, and I thought that September was somehow part of the last quarter of the year, which makes no sense, but that's what I thought for just a split second. And I had just this sinking feeling in my stomach, and I was just thinking, oh my gosh, there's so much that I haven't done this year, and I don't know what to do. It's already the last quarter of the year. What are my goals for the rest of the year? What am I gonna do? I don't know. Oh God. So thankfully, fourth quarter starts in October, so I still have time, but that did start to get the gears turning, did start to help me think of what I want for the coming quarter. In this video, I'm going to give you a few journaling prompts. If you haven't even started to think about the last quarter of this year, that's okay, I got you. And then in the second half of our video, I'm going to set up my weekly spread in my bullet journal. If you're anything like me, maybe you start to feel overwhelmed when you start planning, doing any kind of long-term planning. So this video is for you. Let's do some journaling prompts. Let's start to think about what we want for the last 3 months of 2024 and beyond. These prompts are just to take you into the pre-planning phases of actually setting our goals. So we're not going to be writing down any actual goals today. Right now, we're just thinking about what we want. We're planning. We're just starting to let some things marinate in our minds. If you're a longtime journaler or planner, I want you to take a few moments and go through some of your old journals or notebooks that you may have lying around. If you're not a journaler just yet, I hope you are by the end of this video. Please go ahead and take maybe some old photographs or things, any kind of memorabilia that you may have lying around your house. These are your sources of truth, okay? I want you to go through them and just see what pops up for you in your mind. Like, what projects or plans keep resurfacing that maybe you wrote down or maybe you had been thinking about but never started? And what regrets do you have? Make a list of what stands out for you. Okay, next. I want you to imagine that you're walking down the street. You run into someone whom you maybe went to high school or college with. Maybe you were friends, but you fell out of touch. You strike up a conversation with them and you say, oh, hey, how you doing? I don't know. Oh, you look great. Oh my gosh, I see you. I see you doing all the skincare and I don't know, brushing your teeth and everything. You look at you look good. You get to the question of, what have you been doing with yourself in the past 10 years? Or what have you been up to? And you tell them, and they have a look of maybe just shock or disappointment. Finally, they just say, oh, well, I thought you would be dot, dot, dot. What is that thing? What do you think? What was the thing that maybe you were doing when you were younger and everyone thought you would be that thing, and maybe you wanted to be that thing, but life happened and you ended up not doing or being that thing? What is that? Write it down. So everyone talks about overcoming obstacles, but in all this fighting and battling and just trying to climb those hurdles or jump those thing, you know what I'm saying? In all of that effort, sometimes you just have to realize that there are hurdles, there are obstacles that you are not going to be able to overcome. They're just a part of life and you just have to deal with them. So if that is the case, then how can you deal with them? What do you need to do to accept those things as part of your life? And how can you change how you react to those things? How can you turn them perhaps maybe into something positive? Having said all that, what obstacles can you deal with? What obstacles can you move out of the way or jump over or break or whatever you're supposed to do with them? How can you deal with those? What are the things that are draining your time and your energy and shifting the focus away from the things that you actually do want to do? Now, we're going to plan to plan. So, yes. What are some different ways that you can record your progress toward your goals? Do you need to set up a habit tracker in your bullet journal? Do you need to have maybe a wall calendar in order to just track your progress that way? Are you a visual person? Do you need to have some sort of external accountability? What do you need in order to make sure that you are staying on target and staying on task? And lastly, what do you want? So I hope those journaling prompts were helpful for you. The reason I wanted to make this video is that at the beginning of this year, and I did mention this in a previous video, if I find it, I will link it in the description box, but I did mention that I have a tendency to create goals that I like to call busy work, that are just something that seems like a shiny thing, something really cool to do in the moment. It just sounds really nice, but it's something that is not ultimately going to lead me anywhere. For example, I used to be really focused on making sure that I got 10,000 steps every day, like walking 10,000 steps. And I used to have all these apps on my phone, and I used to make sure, I would march in place while I was watching television. I got really intense and obsessed with this. And it's like, I don't know, I don't like math and I don't like numbers, but for some reason, like when I have a goal that is numbers based, where there's a number like that I have to reach, that is really sexy to me. Like I just like having something that's quantifiable and something that is like, yes, definitely I accomplished this thing, I did this thing, and that just gives me so much dopamine. I can't even stand it. I love it. But I mean, like, is this numerical goal leading me anywhere that I really want to go? Is this a good use of my time? And I've also spoken on my channel about how I tend to kind of put goals on the back burner because of fear or because of laziness or maybe even both. And I know that's what I did with writing for sure. I have wanted to be a freelance writer, particularly a freelance copywriter, for quite some time. Yet I have not really put any real effort into this thing. I buy books, I buy courses, but have I actually put myself out there, put my writing out there? No, I have not. And for a few months this year, I fully convince myself that that's not even what I want at all. And this shiny thing over here is really what's best for me. But on the other hand, I am kind of glad that I did some of the more stupid, I'll call them stupid now, some of the more busy work things, because I think having ADHD, I think it eroded my confidence after a while, just having goals and then not accomplishing them. So to have things like the 10,000 steps that I had to kind of sustain over time, I think that kind of rebuilt my confidence a little bit and just let me know that yes, I can set goals and accomplish them. I can plan for the future. So that is something that if you had spoken to me maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I would not have been able to just fathom that I could do. I didn't think that I had the mental capacity or whatever to be able to do that. I thought I was just going to be floating in space forever. So if you feel that same way, if you have had trouble in the past trying to set goals and actually go forth and finish the things that you started, just maybe give yourself a little grace, but also just do some really hard thinking about why and also about how you can start to yeah, what you can change in the future and how you can make things better in the future. Because I guess what I'm trying to say is don't give up on yourself just yet. You have to figure out what works best for your brain. Just figure out how your mind works, and what works for you is not going to work for everyone else always, and vice versa. So just keep trying and don't give up. And I'm telling myself that just as much as I'm telling you guys, because this year has been a classic example of me giving up on myself, and I'm back, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I have to, that's why we're here. We're planning, we're going to figure out what happened, what went wrong, and we're going to fix it. This is something I wrote a few months ago. The only way to face my fears is with action. If you sit there and kind of stew in it and wallow in it, nothing will change. I may mess up, I may change my mind 50,000 times, but that is still preferable to sitting around and worrying. Yep. And something I wrote in the Notes app on my phone, I have to do something to make my life better. I might not know what the thing is, but I know I have to do something. Yeah, all the signs are there. I have to change my life in 3 months. But this last quarter of the year and going into the next year, I do want to start to think about what needs to be changed. So I'm glad you're here with me. But you don't want to hear all that. You want to get on with the weekly spread so we can get started with the coming week. Let's do this. But yeah, it was a good week. I look at this and it looks as though I'm way busier than I actually am. I don't know why. So no, it wasn't even that deep. I want to thank you all so much for the birthday wishes. My birthday was on the 7th. My last video was actually published on the 8th. So it was like a weird kind of, in between time there, but I just appreciate all the birthday comments so much. I did have a good day, and I'm just very happy to have another twirl around the sun. So yeah, just thank you all. So I gotta say, I'm kind of enjoying this reversed weekly spread that I have. So last week I said, I'm just gonna be crazy, I'm gonna try something new. Normally I have all of this stuff on this side and vice versa, but for some reason I just needed to switch it up. So I put all this on this side, and I was waiting for my little world to implode, and it did not. Everything is okay. I'm not sure. I don't know if I enjoy this better. I'm going to continue this. I don't know if it really makes a difference. But it's interesting. It's just different to look at. And I think it does help me pay more attention maybe now, because it's just different. It's new. It's novel. So I've been thinking a lot this week about Parkinson's law, which I'm going to try to explain what it is. It is Parkinson's law is when Parkinson's law is that time expands to no. The length of time in which it takes to complete a task expands according to the time that you allot for that task. And the reason I was thinking about that is because of last week's video. Actually, I said to myself, hey, I want to have my video completely edited, like everything, thumbnail done, edited, description, published, ready to go on Friday. And then Saturday was my birthday. I didn't want to do a damn thing on Saturday. I didn't want to be sitting in my room with my little headphones on editing. That is my point. So yeah, I managed. I said, you know what, Friday is my day to get this done. And so I got it done. And there you go. But that's what made me think of that. It's like, okay, I allotted a specific amount of time versus just saying, I have all weekend to do this, whatever. As long as I get it done by Sunday, it's all good. Which is how I usually operate. I said, no, I have one day. That's it. I'm not saying that I need to like pack my schedule, but at the same time, maybe just having a hard deadline of saying, hey, I got this thing to do on Saturday, so I can't be screwing around on Friday. What do you think about Parkinson's law? Do you think that's a real thing? Do you think that tasks grow by according to how much time you give yourself to do that task, or is it all just made up in our heads? What do you think? Have you seen examples of this in your own life where you gave yourself just a short amount of time to do something and you were able to get it done in that short amount of time? Let me know in the comments. And we are on the week of September 15th through the 21st. First, I'm going to start with my intention of the week. I'm going to leave a space for that and I will fill it in at the end of the video. And now I'm going to do my goals for the third quarter, because we're still in the third quarter, but you know, I'm definitely keeping my eye on the fourth quarter. So now I'm leaving the space empty. It feels so weird to do that, but I can assure you that by this time next week, this will be filled with all sorts of random thoughts in my mind. So now I'm just gonna ignore that for now and go over to my habit tracker. I have this new thing that I'm calling admin time. So after I go for my walk, I just like to have like a half hour where I'm just drinking my little coffee, I'm checking my emails, paying bills. I do a lot of like financial stuff too. Just that little half hour every day before I start work has been very nice and very beneficial, and I want to make sure that I'm doing that every day instead of just wasting time looking at Facebook or whatever. Now it's time to do my to-do list for the week. So, still a work in progress, but you know what hasn't changed in quite some time and probably won't change is the calendar stamp. Yes. I was surprised in the comments last week and the week before, just all the Virgos watching this channel. I didn't know. I love it. We're Virgos. I know. It is time for the intention of the week. Okay, here is our intention of the week. And I hope you are also making an intention of the week. I just think it's something that really is kind of a guiding thing that you can do throughout your week, or maybe you think it's crap. That's cool too, but I hope you try it at least. So mine is, I intend to be more alert and mindful as I go into the planning process these last few weeks of September. I want to take free moments of time to think about what will make future Alicia happy and figure out steps to bring those ideas into reality. I will look at missteps from the past as learning tools that I will use to make myself stronger and wiser. Future Alicia, I'm trying to really bring her to life as a real person and think about things that she wants and that she would like, and try to avoid things that will ruin her life. So I think I try to look at it from that mindset as like, this is a separate person whom I have to please in some way. I don't know. Could be crap again. All right, so I'm silly. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me move that out of the way. Whatever. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it brought you some clarity and maybe just some things to think about as you start to plan toward the last quarter of 2024. And I hope you leave me a like down below. And if you haven't already, maybe leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about anything. Parkinson's law, bullet journaling, life, whatever. I thank you for joining me. And I'm going to give you the upside down wave goodbye. Thank you very much. Have a good week. Now we're going to plan to plan. Because if you fail to plan, then if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And if you plan to fail, then you fail. And that makes an ass of you and me, because and I'm not an ass except when I am an ass. There you go.